This news update is brought to you by...
Grab somebody and tell them hello. Your happiness will be connected to flow. Smile and cheer because that is we flow. Grab somebody and tell them hello. With your hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air. This is how we flow, yeah. Grab somebody and tell them this is how we flow.
It's Wednesday, August the 12th, 2015, and this is your Barbados Today morning news update. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Thanks for joining us. We begin with news that the Attorney-General is admitting to some level of brutality by police officers in Barbados. However, Adriel Brathwaite was quick to point out that complaints of it have been exaggerated. Brathwaite was speaking in the House of Assembly yesterday on a resolution to borrow $76 million, mainly for building new police stations and repairing old ones, along with construction of other public buildings. He identified a link between complaints of brutality and the performance of the Office of Professional Responsibility.
I am satisfied, sir, that office functions impartially, and sir, the officers there are very dedicated and very senior, and the nature of the reports that we have been seeing are not the kinds that you see on CNN and other broadcasts of real police brutality. When one dives down into many of them, they're domestic in nature, etc. And people come back and when there's a cooling off of heads, etc., are quite keen on withdrawing their complaints instead.
Stating that the government was very concerned about the domestic violence situation in the island, Brathwaite also disclosed that it's getting just under $500,000 from the United Nations Development Fund for Women, UNIFEM, to train police officers to better handle such cases.
Certainly, it struck me that in modern Barbados, that we are still seeing cases of incest being reported, and not to mention cases of rape, of the domestic nature and stuff. So there is still much work to be done in that regard. We continue to see how best we can intervene. Let me take this opportunity to probably thank UNIFEM, with whom I think about 2 months ago, we executed an MOU to continue some work with respect to domestic violence issues. UNIFEM has committed over the next couple of years to make available to us I think just under $200,000 for training, not only for police officers, and I believe, sir, that's $200,000 US, but I don't have the MOU with me. Training these officers, but members of the judiciary, the ordinary man and woman in the street, NGOs, etc.
In his contribution to the debate, Shadow Attorney General Dale Marshall focused much of his attention on the state of crime, particularly gun violence.
And in a week that we could have 9 shootings, and Attorney General comes in here to promise police officers new buildings. New buildings? Mr. Speaker, if he were honest about the numbers, he would not even be boasting about 13%. Because if this debate had taken place only 2 months ago, sir, the percentage would have been 48. There would have been a 48, he would have reported a 48% increase in crime over the same period last year. And Mr. Speaker, for the same period, he would have reported a 245% increase in crimes against the person only 2 months ago. Where you got these figures from? I'm happy to make them a document to the House. they are sent to the opposition by the Royal Barbados Police Force.
In other news now, Barbados will be celebrating its 50th anniversary of independence next year with the creation of a human chain around the island. This will come 37 years after the first human chain was formed on November the 30th, 1979, when 93,000 people joined hands around Barbados as a symbolic gesture of their love for the country. Next year, November 30th, the One People, One Barbados organization will be building on the original idea in order to use the challenging times to galvanize all residents to a new and better place.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Got it in my hand, yeah. My Barbados, my bank. Got to understand, yeah. My Barbados, my bank. Ain't nothing like a core bank spare. None of them others just can't compare. You just got to love that taste. It's the world-class thing this land makes. Whether I'm cruising or at a bar, whether I'm at home, my bank spare is never far. For this blessing, got to give God thanks. My Barbados, my banks.
In regional news now, the government of Dominica has announced that it will soon introduce a new visa system for Haitians wanting to enter the country. Immigration Minister Rayburn Blackmore says that over the last 6 months, there has been a review of the issuance of visas to Haitian nationals. Blackmore explained that under the new system, Haitian nationals could apply in person for visas rather than rely on an employer. He said the intention is to have a more transparent system. Despite Haiti being a member of CARICOM, its nationals require visas to enter some member states. A third staff member at Cayman Airways has been arrested for human smuggling. Police say the 30-year-old woman was taken into custody on Monday and was being questioned by detectives.
Last week, 2 other employees of the national airline were arrested and bailed in a joint operation between police, immigration, and international agencies. The allegations center around foreign nationals legitimately living in Cayman using false documents to leave the country. On Friday, Cayman Airways Limited said they were fully cooperating with the authorities.
In Jamaica, Chief Executive Officer of the Petro-Carib Development Fund, Dr. Wesley Hughes, has sought to allay concerns that use of the money from the Petro-Carib buyback deal will be determined by the governing People's National Party's drive to win the next general election. Dr. Hughes stresses that proceeds from the fund are spent in an open and transparent manner, which is available for public scrutiny. The concern surfaced after news broke that the government had raised US $2 billion on the international capital market to buy back a portion of its Petro-Carib debt.
We are only allowed to fund public bodies. We do not fund, private individuals, except we give allocations to the Development Bank of Jamaica and Exim Bank, and borrowers from those institutions would meet the criteria laid down by those institutions. There's nothing to do with government or ministers or anybody instructing those banks to lend to particular individuals. So I don't think that the public need fear. We publish and people have access to the information. We set out annually in the public bodies documentation what we are going to be funding annually. We do not have that kind of resources to fund elections. What we do is fund the government in its debt operation.
On the international scene, Amnesty International voted Tuesday in support of decriminalizing the sex trade. The move comes despite strong opposition from anti-trafficking organizations and Hollywood stars. The human rights organization passed the measure at its decision-making forum, the International Council meeting in Dublin, Ireland, involving delegates from around the world. Amnesty International Secretary-General Salih Shetty said in a statement that sex workers were one of the most marginalized groups in the world who in most instances face constant risk of discrimination, violence, and abuse. And that's where we end our Barbados Today morning news update. However, you can join us again this afternoon. Until then, remember to log on to www.barbadostoday.bb, subscribe to our e-paper and email updates, or like us on Facebook. And you can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. Also tune into Channel 101 on Lime TV and Mix 96.9 FM to get all the latest news and sports. I'm Emmanuel Joseph. Have a fantastic day.